Shalom. Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim, Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone, double honors to the high priest elders that were before them. Peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing this word with all sincerity and in truth. It's a brother Tazamak from the Great Millstone Austin branch. And today's lesson, I want to go into the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13. Okay, going into the 10 tribes, okay, which we understand the 10 tribes of today or modern Christianity, or Bible scholars and so on call it the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Okay, and the nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Back to my point, going into 2nd Esdras 13, going into the 10 tribes. Okay, verse 2nd Esdras 13 and verse 40. Let's get that real quick. And it reads, "Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king," which Hosea the king was the last king of the northern kingdom at that time before the Assyrian captivity. Okay, before they sieged, Samaria, the northern kingdom. Okay. It says, "Whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land." Okay, so they went under captivity under the Assyrian, and I believe it's, let me get it real quick. Okay, it's Shalmaneser the fifth. The king of Assyria, says, this is the AI overview on Google, being the most prominent in biblical history, he is known for conquering the kingdom of Israel and capturing Samaria. Okay, and yeah, that's, just to back up that precept. Let's go back now. Salakia. Second Esdras 13 and 41. It says, "But they took this counsel," the 10 tribes took counsel, "but they took this counsel amongst themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt." 42. "That they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High Yahweh then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth." So the 10 tribes ultimately came to a region where never mankind dwelt. Okay, and it was a place called Arsareth. All right, now I got a couple articles right here. All right, and let's get this this book. Okay, it says, let me see what the book is called. Okay, it says Christopher Columbus. Okay, so this is off Harvard College Library. Okay, documents. And it's going into the participation of the Jews and the Spanish and Portuguese discoveries. Christopher Columbus, okay, translated from the author's manuscript with his sanction and revision. Harvard College, a professor, okay. It's all documents. And it goes into basically when Christopher Columbus came to the Americas. When Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, he took himself a Hebrew interpreter. Okay, it'll tell you Hebrew. You see, Hebrew was Luis de Torres was a man that Christopher Columbus, his interpreter. All right, because Christopher Columbus, they said he discovered the Americas, right? But Christopher Columbus already knew that there was Hebrews in the Americas, man. Okay, so in this article, let me read the last part. It says the last sentence right here. It says, I trust that I have succeeded in making a contribution to the history of the discovery of America and to the history of the Jews, to whom America has been a land of refuge, a land of freedom and equality. And we read that in 2nd Esdras 13 and verse, what was it, 42? 41. Let's go to 41 real quick. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. So going back to this document, it says that America was a land of refuge to the Israelites, man, or of freedom and equality. Okay, and now let's get a little bit more on this. The 10 tribes. Okay, we got the tribe of Gad. All right, which are the North American Indians, the Native Americans. All right, Chief Joseph has an Assyrian star. If you look at it, that's an Assyrian star. Okay, let me get more. I know there's a better picture of this. All right, if you could zoom in a little bit, this is Chief Joseph, a Native American, a so-called Native American from a Gadite. Okay, now you see, zoom in, that's an Assyrian star. Let me get this. You see the Assyrian flag? All right, so the Northern Kingdom, okay, Simeon, Salakia, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar are the 10 tribes that escaped the Assyrian captivity. Okay, we just saw the Assyrian star in Chief Joseph the Gadite, which proves that they were under Assyrian captivity. All right, St. John 10 and 16, when Yahushua was speaking to his disciples, he said, and other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, because this was in Rome, right? Yahushua was under the Roman captivity. So he told them, other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Okay, let's see what it says. In the NLT, I have other sheep too that are not in this sheepfold. I must bring them also. They will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock with one shepherd. Okay, so that other flock, the other sheep that weren't of the sheepfold where he was at, where it's talking about the 10 tribes, okay, the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos today that came to a land that no man dwelt, which is called Arzareth. Okay, which when you go to this other document, it tells you that Columbus identified America with this land, which was Arzareth. Okay, so like I said, that's why Christopher Columbus took Luis de Torres, the Hebrew interpreter, with him, because he knew the Hebrews were in the Americas. Okay, that's why we read St. John 10 and 16. Yahushua was speaking of the Northern Kingdom. Now, to pull out more proof, okay, you know, the Israelites were in captivity in Egypt. Okay, let's go to Exodus 1 and verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. And all their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, Salakia. Okay, and in Egypt, there's pyramids, man. So these 10 tribes, right, the Northern Kingdom, when they came to the Americas, they made these pyramids we see today. Okay, the pyramids in Mexico, the pyramids in Central and South America, because those people that made the pyramids here, all right, in Central, South America, and in Mexico, are the so-called lost 10 tribes of Israel, man. The so-called Latin tribes today, Latinos and Seminole Indians, Native Americans, and so on. All right, it's because they're the same people. Okay, that's why in Acts chapter 1 and verse 8, let's read this. But you shall receive power. After that, the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and you shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth. The uttermost part of the earth is talking about America, okay? The land of the north. Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 16 and 15, but the Lord Yahweh liveth that brought up the children. Well, let's go a verse before. Therefore, behold the days, this is Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, and the Lord is in caps, so that's the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into the land, into their land that I gave unto their fathers. You see, so the land of the north is the uttermost part of what did it say? Of the earth. Now, when we go to Deuteronomy 28 and 48, it says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until you have destroyed thee. And in want of all things. So you see the Edomites today, right? Self-proclaimed white man. That's why you have Bible scholars, archaeologists. They know the truth. They got documents. They got proof, right? They sent Bible scholars across, you know, and have said that the lost 10 tribes, okay, indeed came to the Americas. That's why you have Los Luna stones in New Mexico. Let's look at that real quick. Los Luna stones. Where's it at? Okay, which is what? Hebrew. The Paleo Hebrew. Because and this is in New Mexico. You see, this is more proof that the Hebrew Israelites, all right, the northern kingdom came to the Americas, man. Like this document said, for a land of refuge. But the scriptures tell you that they came so they can practice their laws, statutes, and commandments over here. We saw the chief Joseph, the medicine bag, all right, with the Assyrian star, which he said was passed down to him from generation to generation. You see, the Assyrian star, okay? The northern kingdom came to the Americas. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 13 and 41. But they took this counsel among themselves, the 10 tribes, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And that indeed was the Americas, man. Okay? That's why Christopher Columbus, it is said that he discovered the Americas. Okay, well, if the 10 tribes came to a place where never mankind dwelt, all right, which adds more proof that that was the Americas, because Christopher Columbus said he discovered America and there was no mankind dwelling there according to him, but the Hebrews were already there. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites were already there. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Double honors to the high priest elders that were before them. Peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing this word with all sincerity and in truth. Until the next one, Shalom.